be true, should be true with as much as patient information. Sorry, that is so that's pertinent information about the patient as possible. So now, records that are being taken during this admission, okay, they should be comprehensive enough. You need to get all the possible information. All right, so none should be left behind. As we know, in a healthcare setting, everything matters a lot. Okay, even the little things, we have to pay attention to them. So as little as I had a mild migraine yesterday, informations like that have to be gotten, because funny enough, that only that information can lead to the exact cause of the patient's condition at that point in time. So that is why all information needs to be adequate and complete. So now, in acute care hospitals, the patient must provide a urine specimen. Okay, they must provide a specimen, and you have to help in collecting this urine specimen. I think you must have done collecting of urine specimen, and urine is part of them. So what you do is either you are assisting this patient to the bathroom, or you are offering them a bedpan or urinals to do what, to obtain this. Okay, once that's been obtained, you take the quantity you need into the specimen bottle, and you can send them to the lab for investigations. Okay, and once you are done with that, you must try to must make sure that your hands are washed. Okay, and then you make the patient comfortable. Now, any question? Is there any question before we continue? Okay, I think there's no question. Now, if the patient is ambulatory, he or she may sit up. He or she may wish to do what? To sit up and visit with family members. Maybe they might want to see family members. Okay, so now in an acute care hospital, the patient is put to bed. So the side raise, you have to raise them if the nursing supervisors actually order that. It still depends on the patient's condition. Okay, now you give the patient water if it's allowed. If this patient is not placed on a nipple, or you can offer the patient with water. You can also make sure that the patient can reach the signal cord, that is the call button, at any point in time he or she needs the attention of the nurse. Okay. So now, when you are done with any procedure you have for the patient, or when the patient is done with what he or she is doing, you can as well do or remove the screen. The screen should not always be there. Okay, or if the patient demands that and requests that he wants to be screened, he doesn't want anybody to see him, you can as well do it. But once you are done with the procedures, you can do what to take away the screen. Okay, now you can now tell the family member that they may return to the room. Now, this is for possibly when you want to collect urine and sample, or perform any procedure at all that might lead to maybe exposing the patients. Okay, or maybe when you want to administer medications, the relatives are not supposed to be there. You could as well excuse these patients. Okay, now if the patient is unconscious and unable to answer the admission question, you have to have a family member help you with the information needed on the admission checklists. Okay, now get as much information as you can about the patient. Get enough information. enough information as it would help in further care for the patients. Okay, and it will help with getting an adequate diagnosis for the patients. Very important. Now, always be cautious and helpful to the patient and the patient family. You don't have to rush the patient through the admission process. You have to take it, just like we said before, it is a process. Okay, for the fact it is a process, it must be followed accordingly, and you shouldn't rush the process. Allow the patient to get acquainted with you and a healthcare setting. It is not just it's not a rush process. Don't expect the patient to just start adapting, because definitely you'll see them calling you back later to ask questions. So something you must have explained before, to do what they call you back to do what, to explain again. Okay, so do well to give them time to do what, to get acquainted with you and the healthcare setting. All right. Now, create an atmosphere of warmth and understanding for the patient and the patient's family. That's
Hi, thanks for joining. Please like.
now transfer means moving a patient from one unit to another unit. Okay, we did in the private ward.
Hi,
So
where are you
if
watching
they
me from?
decide that they are not comfortable in the general ward
Thanks for the like.
and
Click on the like up.
they want to be moved to
The
the
like
private
up.
ward, you have to transfer them. So that is one of the reasons why the patients are being transferred. from one
Hi.
room to another. Okay. Now, a transfer for personal reasons, such as to find more compatible. We normally have a nursing station in that particular room.
Zambia.
Okay, now the nursing
Hi.
station is
Welcome to
in
my
the room.
life. Thanks for
So
joining
most
the
times for
family.
patients like that that are critical,
My
best that
Zambia
they
family.
are placed in the
You all
ward
are
or in a
amazing. Mwah.
space, bed space that is closer to the nursing station. Be transferred if the room location or equipment in the room is needed for more critical
Hi. The
view
Nigeria weather is
patients. That is for
good. It's
facilities
good.
that
It's good.
are out of
How is the weather over there?
equipment. Okay, so now possibly maybe
Please
this
like.
patient is recovering, this patient is responding to treatment, and the discharge is very, very close, and the need for the equipment in that room for this patient is not necessary, and they need those equipment for another patient. That patient may be transferred to another so as to admit a critical patient in that particular
All right. That's nice. That's beautiful.
room. Okay, so these are the reasons why a patient might be transferred. Now you have to know that if the patient did not ask to be transferred, he or she may be upset. That is especially if the patient does not understand the reason for the transfer. That is why we always have to explain. We'll get to that. Now, what are your responsibilities? First, you have to make sure that all patient belongings are transferred. Then, you must move all belongings with the patient. As the patient is going, you are going together with the patient's belongings. Okay? Now, another thing you must do what? You must check the drawers, the bed, the bathroom, and ensure that nothing is left behind. Okay? Now, it is very, very much important that you check with the nursing supervisor before moving any equipment to another floor or to another That is first part. You have to make sure that your room is ready completely to receive the patient.
Thanks for
Now, if the
logging.
patient
Please
is
share,
sleeping in
share.
bed, personal belongings can be placed on the bed. So we have said this that as you are moving the patient, the belongings are also moving together with the patient. All right? You don't move the belongings first, or you don't move the belongings later. It should go together with the patient. So they see that you are going together with it, because we have had cases.
The first floor, follow her to the second floor, or another sending will continue.
No. So you are the one doing the transfer. Okay, so now the CNA there will be there to receive. That is why we stated there that while you get there, you have to introduce the patient to to the personnel there. So they are there waiting. You must have informed them. It's still part of admission. Okay, it's still part of our admission process. It's just like you are admitting the person into a new section. So the CNA in that particular section will be there waiting to receive the patients. So they are not involved in the transfer. So to them over there, they are admitting. They are starting up an
Guys, I'm so tired
process.
today.
I don't know if you understand me.
I'm so tired.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So you did, if you are the one transferring, what you did was what? You transfer the patient. Okay?
Today class
While
is just
the
all
CNA
about
over there receiving the patient. That is
admitting a
admission
patient
process.
and
From the point of when you
the types, the preparing of patient's bed, how to transfer,
Christian,
and etc. That's what we are talking about today. So it's just a lecture, like, of say basics.
okay. In absence of any other question, we'll move to discharge.
Discharge.
Discharge procedure. Now, what is discharge? Who can tell me the meaning of discharge?
Hi.
Who can help us? Who can help us? I need someone to explain the meaning of
Is the
discharge.
release of a
What do you
patient
think?
from
What's the meaning of discharge?
to my own understanding, discharge means to release a patient from a healthcare facilities after treatment is being done.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Release of the patient. Okay. Now, when a patient is stable.
I tried.
So once a patient is completely stable, the patient can be allowed to go. Is a release of a patient from the ward, from the hospital. Now, the planning of discharge actually starts from what? From the point the patient is admitted. So now, most times you see doctor telling you admit for 24 hours, admit for 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the hospital we normally use time. We don't use this. Hardly you hear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so I can hear you. This song, let the song come inside. I think the network is bad.
I don't know what happened to my network.
You all, I'm wearing my husband clothes today.
Okay.
Bye.
Sorry about that. I believe you can hear me now.